just expressing my appreciation for that. But now we're gonna go ahead and get into the video. So, yeah, where I left off was when I was working at Dunkin' Donuts. So, I ended up, leaving there, but there's a story longer to that. I just didn't go into detail. So, I was working at the travel center that had the Dunkin' and the Subway. Well, we started to get news that they were going to transform the Dunkin' Donuts into a pizza place and, I guess make the Dunkin' Donuts like a Dunkin' Donuts Express where they just have the coffee and the donuts self-serve. So they were going to do that and like put that in the gas station part of the travel center. So we were like, okay, so where are we gonna work at? Like, where are we gonna go if you guys are gonna do that? So they basically said they were gonna, if we wanted to still work there, we could change, they would like put us to work at Subway, or we could like work in the gas station part and like either do the register or help clean the bathrooms and things like that, just be in that portion. So my cousin was the manager at the Subway. But at this time, my cousin and her family were like planning to move from our state to Arizona. So if they moved to Arizona, then I wasn't gonna be able to ride with her to work. Because if you watch my last video, well, I suggest you watch part 1 to know what's going on a little bit with part 2, but I didn't get my license till last year. I know. Long story. Anyways, and this was in 2019, I think. So they were planning to move. So they moved, and then I kind of had to get my parents to drive me, and it was like 30 minutes all the way there. So it was kind of rough on my parents in the morning, waking up early and getting to work. The thing about working at Subway though is that they didn't let me, I didn't have to come in at 6 anymore. I would come in at like 7, or I would come in at 8. It just kind of depended, pretty much. It just kind of depended. So they didn't have, I really wish my cousin was still working there because it would have been a lot better, but she wasn't. So now I had different managers, and I didn't really like any of them. And they were kind of rude, like they were rude to the customers over there. Like, I remember this one time I got there at like 7 in the morning, and it was just me and my assistant manager. And somebody came in to like get something really quickly, like breakfast, because Subway does breakfast. And so the two of them just went out and had a full-on argument. And I was sitting there like, okay, like what is going on? You guys are allowed to talk to your customers this way? It was crazy. I mean, everybody wants to do that when they get irritated with the customer. And I'm not saying that the customer didn't edge her on, but at the same time, it's like, we might want to have some professionalism here, right? Like, I was surprised that she talked to him that way. But anyway, kind of like the same thing at Subway was the buses, where people came in and were like rushing us, and people weren't nice. And I think it was even worse in regards to Subway, because at Subway you have to ask people like what do they want, and they kind of tell you what like they want to put on their sub and blah blah blah. So instead of just being like coming in and grabbing a donut or grabbing a coffee, it's kind of like they have to stand there in the line and you have to be with them for a longer time. And so people were upset and agitated, but instead of them just walking in and out, they had to stay there and bother you and irritate you. I didn't like that. I also just didn't was so sick of that, bro. I don't want to come home smelling like onions. I just don't. I don't want to do that, you know? So, I hated that. I literally hated that. But, so when that change happened, I was not cool with it. I didn't want to work at Subway anymore. And I wanted to work somewhere that was closer so that my family didn't have to keep driving me to and back from work since I wasn't riding with my cousin anymore. So I was trying to find a job that was closer to where I live, instead of, 30 minutes away, somewhere like a lot closer than that. So anyways, I was starting to look for places, but I wasn't sure where. I didn't know. I didn't want to work at another food place, but those were like the only options I had at that point. I was just kind of sick and tired of food places, and I was getting drained from just having to deal with so many customers and blah. It was rough. So anyway, I started looking for somewhere else. There is a Pizza Hut near me, so I applied there. I had an interview, never got a call back. And then there's a Wendy's that's near me, so I went and applied at the Wendy's. Did get a call back. Got an interview. Got a call back. From there, so that was, I guess I didn't really get a call back. I think she kind of hired me on the spot. Yeah, she pretty much hired me on the spot. I take that back. Yeah, so the interview at Wendy's was really chill. She seemed chill. The manager, she was pretty okay, I guess. But also, she was kind of like she wanted things to get done in the right way. But even though she was like that, that wasn't how the store was ran. But I'll get into that later. So, anyway, I start working at the Wendy's, and when I first started working at Wendy's, they put me on sandwiches. So I had really short shifts, and I was on sandwiches. And, I mean, I hated sandwiches at first. It was a lot to learn, but once you get comfortable, like, she gave me, like, this paper that had every sandwich on it and how to make it, and she was like, take this home and learn it, or whatever. So I tried, and I hated it, but hey, it is what it is. So, first they put me on sandwiches, then I think they moved me to front register, and I think I hated front register more than the sandwiches, because I had to interact with people. So I think out of my whole job, I preferred to be on sandwiches. Even the thing that I hated the most when I first started working here, sandwiches was probably the best thing that I could have stayed at, but they didn't keep me there. I just really hate interacting with people, customers, because they can be so mean, and then it's draining when you have a bunch of people come in all the time. It can be really draining, but the thing about working the front register is that you also have to worry about people that are sitting inside to eat, not just picking up their food and leaving out the door. It's like people will come in, sit, in the front and at the table, so you had to clean the tables after they were done. You were in charge of the whole front lobby-like area. I said lobby. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Anyways, the front area where people sit with the tables, you're in charge of that and keeping that all clean and stuff. So it can get confusing having to know what to put on the trays and bagging stuff, and it can get confusing. So yeah. But eventually after that they moved me to work the first register where you take orders and collect money. So I liked doing that at first, but the person that did that also had to wash dishes, so it was kind of really irritating taking orders. Like, you had to wash the dishes, and then, like, after you took the money, so, like, I'd be finally, like, done with a whole dry drive-through line of people, and I'd be like, okay, good, I can finally start washing the dishes now. And I go start to wash the dishes, hands in soap, washing away, and then as soon as I'm doing that, beep beep on the headset, a person wants to take an order. And I'm like, are you kidding me, bro? I just started washing the dishes. So, I hated doing that. I'm just gonna tell you, I hated everything about Wendy's. That's every single thing about Wendy's I hated, so I'm not even gonna talk about anything I really liked. Because to be honest with you, I didn't like one thing about Wendy's. I think at that point, I was just sick of working in fast food places. I was just tired of it. And I feel like people treat fast food workers so badly because they think that you're at the bottom of the food chain. I know that's funny. Bottom of the food chain, fast food, whatever. They think that you're at the bottom of the barrel because you're working in fast food, and it's just not fair to be treated that way, you know? But whatever. Also, I had really weird hours. Some days I would work like, I'd come like 10 to 4. I worked 10 to 4, and then sometimes she'd have me work like 10 to 8, which was crazy. Like, what the world? I hated those shifts, because that's too long. I'm sorry, that's just too long. I don't want to work that long, bro. Goodness gracious, but yeah. I just didn't know what I was signing up for when I applied to Wendy's. I hated it. It was just not good, and I think the worst part about my job was that it was a really ghetto Wendy's. Like, it still is a really ghetto Wendy's, and none of the workers were, I mean, they did their job, but they did it badly. Like, it's just, it's not a clean Wendy's either. It needs to be remodeled. It's just not clean, and it's just not, it's nasty. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I still eat there, but it just needs a remodel. I'll put it that way. I never saw any bugs or like roaches or anything like that, but the place just needs a remodel and update because it's old Wendy's. And basically it was a lot of teenagers that were still in high school that worked there when I was working there. I had graduated in 2017, so when I was working there, I'd been fresh out of school for a couple of years. And yeah, so, but the kids that were there was just like, they did not show up on time, and I couldn't leave because I was on the register, so I had to wait for my register to be counted. And then they'd show up like so late. They didn't, I mean, it was just so irritating. They never were doing their job right. It just was not, I just didn't like it. I didn't like it, especially when I would have to stay and work the second shift hours. It wasn't as bad on the first shift hours because our manager was there, so she tried to keep things in shape, but most of the time she'd leave probably around 3 or 4, and so when it was time for second shift, the kids weren't, they don't really care, they're just playing around basically, and it's really irritating. But yeah, you may work at if you work at Wendy's, you may work at a better Wendy's. My Wendy's sucks. I hate that Wendy's. Like I said, I still eat there, but they're really irritating. A lot of people around the area do not like that Wendy's, and I didn't want to get looped in with the people that they hate there. Because I'm like, listen, I'm just here to do my job. People usually like me because I try to do my work right. I don't like to play around. I just do my job. I stay out of people's business. I don't get involved in drama, and I go home. I feel like that's the best way to work. Like, people that invest themselves in like getting involved in other people's drama and stuff, it can be tiresome, and it's just a lot on you. Like, why do that? You're not even there for that. Just go to work, do your job, don't worry about other people's business, and go home. I feel like I said, that's the best way to work, and I never complain about anyone. I don't complain, well, making the money, and eventually they gave us masks to wear, and it was a weird time, but we got through it. So anyway, so getting into my next job, because I was not staying at the Wendy's long. I was sick and tired of working in fast food. Now, I will take you back to when I was in high school. I wanted to be a nurse. I always wanted to be in the medical field. I originally wanted to do phlebotomy. And I think this all stemmed from when I was diagnosed with diabetes. But anyways, I wanted to do phlebotomy. But in high school, they had a program for juniors and seniors where you could go to the local community college in the morning and you could take different courses there for like a good portion of the day, and then come back to the school and take the rest of your classes. So in senior year, I did a CNA course with some other students at the high school, and at the community college, and that was a really fun time. I really enjoyed it. It was cool. But anyways, so I ended up not being able to take the state boards to get my license because I didn't have a state ID at the time. So I took the class for nothing, which sucked. But fast forward to 2020, I heard that the local nursing home was offering a 6-week course for CNA where you take a class at the nursing home for 6 weeks, and then at a certain point you're able to take the state boards, and boom, you get your CNA license. And you get paid for taking the class. Like when you work there, you literally are like working there, like you get paid for it. So it's a paid class, like boom, even better. So, and then even after the 6 weeks, you get to stay there until you take your state boards. And then after you take your state boards, if you pass, you just stay working there. If you failed, I think you have to retake it again. But if you fail a third time, I think you had to leave because you're not licensed. So anyway, I applied and I got it. I remember being at Wendy's and I was doing like bagging some orders, and I got a text message from the teacher, and she was like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that you've been entered into the class and it'll be starting so and so." I was like, yes, bro. I was so happy. I was finally getting away from fast food, from working with customers, and I was actually doing something that I wanted to do in regards to becoming like in the medical field. So boom, it was great. I was happy about that. And anyways, I go there. This is gonna be another long story, guys. What the world? So anyway, I go take the class. The class was cool. One of the girls that was in the class with me went to the same high school that I went to. She was like a grade or so above me when I was in high school. So I knew her. And it was some other girls that were, or women I should say, that were taking the class with me, and it was pretty cool. Like, I felt like I was back in school again, and I didn't think I would want that feeling, but it was fun having like classes again. I don't know, it was just fun learning about medical things, and I already kind of knew about it because I had taken the class before, so it was a refresher for me. And I was really excited about it. I was super excited. So, yeah, we took the class, and then at a certain point in the class, we started like the clinical portion where we would work throughout the nursing home with the other CNAs, and we would just kind of help them and stuff. So we did that. And then, after that, the 6-week class was over. We did a little graduation ceremony, and we started working at the nursing home. But yeah, so I will say, so the experience of being a CNA it's a good experience, but it is a draining experience, okay? Now, I will say this, I am still licensed as a CNA. I don't really use it right now, but I am still licensed as a CNA. It is a good experience learning and being able to take care of where, like, she always, like, if you start messing with her, some days she'd be in a good mood, but other times she'd be mad and irritated and want to fight you. So this was one of those nights. I was working 3 to 11, and, I went in there to change her. Okay, so I went to change her. I rolled her over. She wasn't a heavy patient. She was a lot easier to roll over. So, anyway, I got that done. Started to get change her diaper and stuff. So, she had gone number 2, right? So, I'm starting to change her and stuff and like wipe her and whatever. And she started fighting me. Like legit fighting me. I feel like you know where this story is going. I don't know. Anyway, she starts fighting me. So I'm like, okay, hold on. So yeah, she was like, get off me. She was like screaming, cussing at me, blah, 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 blah. So I'm trying my best. You know, you can't hit people. You can't do anything like that. You know, but that's your instinct, right? To want to do that. You can't do that or you will lose your license and probably end up having to go to the board of nursing in your state and like end up getting like a case filed against you, whatever. Anyway, so you can't do stuff like that, but that's your instinct. Anyway, so she's trying to hit me, all this stuff. And anyway, so I'm still trying to change her, right? She takes her hand, sticks it in her butt. And remember, I said she'd gone number 2, so that's all over her hands now. And then she grabs me with that hand on my arm and I try to take her arm to get it off me because I'm already grossed out, and then she kind of swats me in the face. So not only do I have crap on my arm, I now have it on my face and on my glasses. Yeah, that was a really interesting night. So I had to go out there, tell one of the LPNs and another CNA to come help me. And I was like, as you can see, look at my face and my arm. What just happened? They're like, oh my gosh. So they go in there and try to, help. And they're like, there's some bleach wipes. When I tell you I scrubbed my skin in bleach, I don't care if bleach is not good for your skin. I scrubbed my skin in bleach. And I wiped my face. I wiped my glasses. It was not a good time. Not a good time for me. Let's just say I was very glad to go home that night. But that's just a story of what can happen to you when you work with patients, residents, whatever. That stuff can happen. Doctors have seen it all. Nurses have seen it all. Trust me. I have much respect for every single nurse and doctor. Every single one of them. So anyway, yeah, that can happen. But also, I worked rotating weekends. But the thing about it is, they like to call you and be like, hey, can you work this weekend? Can you come in this day? Can you come in this day? All the time. All the time. And I'm like, if people keep calling out, get some better staff, please, because you're messing up my time off. It got so bad to the point where I blocked their numbers from asking me to come in. I literally did. I'm not even ashamed. I was like, I am not doing this anymore. On my days off, I do not want to be chilling, enjoying my day, and then getting a text that's like, hey, can you come in 3 to 11 tonight? No, I'm not doing it. Because, like, if I see it, then I'm going to feel pressured to do it, second shift people, the third shift people, a lot of times they didn't want to come in. So, I don't know why. And yet they still weren't fired. Big whoop. I don't know why they didn't show up. So, one night I had to work their shift. 16 hours. And I was supposed to work that next day in the morning, but that didn't end up happening because you can't work 3 shifts in a row. I think it's against the law. But yeah, 16 hours, and I hated it. I was like, I did not plan on doing a double. I don't sign up for doubles, and it's like mandatory. You have to do it. I had to have a mind to walk out the door and say forget it, especially considering my mom and my brother drove all the way from home. 15 minutes from home in the dark at 11 something at night to come pick me up. They're waiting for me in the parking lot, and I have to say, never mind. I apparently have to stay here. I had to have a mind to tell that lady, look, you're gonna be the one to go outside and tell my mom and my brother who just got out of bed that to come pick me up that they have to go back home. Would you like to pay for their gas money? Because that's what you should do. Like, I had to have a mind. Bro, that night made me so upset because I did not want to have to do that. I was tired. And it's not my fault that that person didn't show up. It's not my fault. And so that night, legit, when that happened, that shift, I started looking for another job. I'm telling you, I stayed at this place for like 6, 7 months, 8 months at the most. I think it was 8 months. I stayed there and I was like, nope. I had already got my CNA license, and I was like, I am going to work at a hospital. I'm going to work in better conditions because you guys don't know what you're doing here. You do not know what you're doing here. Keep in mind also, this place is disgusting. Yeah, just not a good environment. The residents were okay. I enjoy working with them, but the patients, no. The staff, no. Anyway, so I start looking for a hospital to go to, and so this happens to be the job that I work at now. Now, I said I don't use my CNA license, and this is the reason why. So, I applied to work as a CNA there, which is called a patient care tech at the hospital, PCT. So the hospital's like 20 minutes from me, and it's a fairly new hospital. It's really nice. I like it, but no one was calling me back to work as a CNA there. I don't know why. I don't know if my application went through. Something kind of happened with that, so I don't know. But anyways, I was determined to leave the nursing home. Determined. So what I did, I started looking for any job that was at the hospital. Literally anything, any position. And what I found was working as a housekeeper, environmental service aide, basically. So that's what I do now. I am an environmental service aide at a hospital. And it's really nice. Honestly, this is the first job that I have not had any complaints. I've been working there since 2021, so I've been here for about 2.5 years now. And honestly, I do not hate my job. Everyone is really nice to work with. I get to be on my own. I can put my earbuds in, listen to music, and just clean. Okay, sometimes it can get busy. It can get busy, legit, and sometimes it's stressful. It can get stressful. You're probably thinking maybe not, but it can be. But as long as you go to work, do your job, get the stuff done, go home, it's chill. They don't really bother me with asking me. They rarely ask me to come in on a shift that I wasn't supposed to work. so you can't get a renewal. Anyway, this video is really long, I'm sorry, but yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for all of your support and subscribers, like, wow, thank you. I hope those continue to grow, and I hope that I'm able to continue to help you guys sleep, or relax, or whatever you do. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get in the bed, because it's after 12 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, I'm gonna watch Grey's Anatomy. I'm starting season 3, and it's been fun so far. A fun experience. A crazy experience. The last episode of season 2 got me. I don't cry at stuff, but that actually made me cry a little bit. I do not cry at anything hardly, and that actually got me. I'm kind of shook about that. Anyways, I'm moving on from Grey's Anatomy talk, but I will say,